In today's Abuja's market, what is the best area to invest in for long term?
So I think that depends on your capacity, your appetite to invest. You understand? If we say best area and you want to invest in Maitama or Sokoro, but you don't have the capital, it doesn't apply to you. So for people that are just startups, we could look at locations where infrastructure is going towards. Then you buy there, you speculate, you build, you wait, you speculate, you build, So every part of Abuja's real estate is profitable, to be honest, depending on your capital to invest, your appetite to invest.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Echoes of Transformation, the podcast where we talk about raw conversation, insightful topic. And today, joining us is our very own Dr. Abubakar Salami, who is here to share to us insights and what he thinks about the Abuja real estate market. Welcome, Dr. Abubakar Salami.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure having you here today.
Thank you, Ruru. It's always a pleasure being here.
Thank you, sir. So, Dr. Abubakar, you've had an amazing journey in the real estate space, but let's say you had the chance to start all over again. With what you know now, what would you do differently to get better results?
So for me, would I really do anything differently? I don't think so. I don't want to live in a world where I don't make mistakes. I think making mistakes makes you better and got me where I am today. So I won't be here without mistakes. In a world without mistakes, that means you're a god. I don't think I want to be a god. It's going to be a boring lifestyle to be a man without mistakes. But, one thing I tell people, fail and get back up. Fail as many times as possible and get back up. So that is the story of my life. At every given point in time, I do a lot of transactions. I put a lot up in the air. Some comes to pass, some don't. So I learned from the ones that fail in order to get better, to be able to do better. So I would not really change anything. I think I would really go the same way I have to get where I am today.
Okay, so let's talk about location. In today's Abuja's market, what is the best area to invest in for long term?
So I think that depends on your capacity, your appetite to invest. You understand me? If we say best area and you want to invest in Maitama or Sokoro, but you don't have the capital, it doesn't apply to you, and that means. So for people that are just startups, you could look at locations where infrastructure is going towards. Then you buy there, you speculate, you build, you wait, you speculate, you build, So every part of Abuja's real estate is profitable, to be honest, depending on your capital to invest, your appetite to invest. So for me, I started towards Life Camp, Lokogoma, Idu, and right now I'm buying properties around Wuye, Jahi, to moving inward, because I'm more liquid than I was when I started, But for a startup, you might not be able to afford such properties, right? So it's better you buy properties along upcoming areas, locations, then you're able to turn over, then move inward,
Okay. So looking ahead, where do you see the Abuja real estate market with the current situation in the next 5 years?
So let me talk about Nigerian real estate market. The Nigerian market is worth about 2.6 trillion US dollars, surpassing the oil sector right now. So I see about 3-point-something trillion dollars in 5 years. You understand? That is a huge market for people, and we have about 22 million housing deficit. So I look at 30-something million housing deficit. Let's say 30 million housing deficit in 5 years. So that means there's a lot for everybody. There's a lot of job opportunities here. So I always, when I get the opportunity to speak to the youth, I say, okay, the real estate has different ecosystems where you can tap in. Real estate is a place where you can make money without investing heavy capital. You understand? Let me give you an instance now. As a realtor, as a real estate marketer, you could approach a real estate developer. I say, okay, how many percentage will you give me if I sell your house? And they say, okay, I'll give you 5, mostly 5 anyways. I give you 5% of the value of the property. And I take my smartphone, take pictures, post them online. I have 20K, I sponsor advert. I get a client, I read books on sales, get better on sales, right? I get a client, I take him to the site, and he buys the house, and I get 5% of that. That is a brilliant way to make money without huge capital, but it also requires commitment. You understand me? It requires a certain level of integrity too. Then personal development. See, between me and you doing business, right, you have to become a fine person for people to want to patronize you, because every enterprise you're in Nigeria, we have another how many thousand people doing it. You understand me? So what makes you stand out? So I see a lot of people say, okay, I'm a realtor, I've not sold anything. No, but you need to work on yourself first, before you can create value. So that market is huge, and trust me, that is something I'm looking at government tapping into, creating jobs out of the real estate market. Yeah.
Okay, so what are some of the common beginners' mistakes you would strongly advise people to avoid?
I don't like to lean towards mistakes, because they are part of the journey. You understand me? So I see it as, I won't call it a mistake, I say a learning curve. You understand me? Anything you do wrong, you know not to do it again. You understand me? So that's the idea of it. So do I call it mistake? No, it's always a learning curve. I sign a bad deal, is a learning curve. I know not to sign another deal like that. You understand me? Someone's cheats me out of a transaction and didn't pay me well. I know that next transaction I'll have an MOU. You understand me? So everything that happens to me, I learn from. See, I think what gives you the mindset of a warrior and the mindset of a winner is that when you're forced to bow, you bow so low, so you remember how it hurt, so you don't have to bow again. You understand me? So that is the warrior's mindset. So I don't look at things like mistake. I say, okay, what is this thing meant to teach me? That's how I look at learning curves. So I think I won't call it a beginner's mistake, because you can't win without making mistakes.
Exactly.
So it would be bad of me to tell people not to make mistakes, and I expect them to win. So that's that.
So sir, what do you think about investing in lands?
A piece of the earth. It's a beautiful investment. It's one of the most stable investments. So I'll give you, for land investment, it always appreciates. You cannot bank on it at any time. So having a plot of land somewhere and leaving it with good title, good certificate too. We're not talking about just going to buy the land that they'll throw stone and they'll say from here to here now your own. You understand? I'm talking about certified properties where you have security, RO4, CFO, and you in Abuja you pay your ground rent, because the mayor is not playing. He will take your land if you don't pay your ground rent. So I think land investment is one of the best, to be honest. I myself, I have properties in landed properties, security here and there. So I always advise people to invest in property, assets, and land.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abubakar, for this section. And to our audience out there, if you've been sitting on the fence about real estate, I hope this section was very insightful for you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. See you in our next video. I remain your host, Ogenera Coin.